Hi, Roy.
Hey, Warren.
How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm hanging in there.
Oh, well, it's what a couple of weeks it's been for you. Sorry to hear about all of your issues with landing in the hospital of all things there a week ago. But you're doing okay. You're feeling okay and home now, right?
Yeah, it's I was very, very lucky. I just want to say thanks to everybody that's reached out. And it just means a lot. And I yeah, I didn't have a heart attack. However, my heart was under a lot of stress, and it was a result. What triggered it was the flu, believe it or not. But as a result of all that, blockage was discovered, and yeah, so I'm going to have to go in for a bypass surgery, which is going to be taking place not this Wednesday, but the 19th. So yeah, it's kind of scary when you find out that three of your arteries are clogged. But again, with the technology and everything, I was just very fortunate that the flu was able to unravel this. So yeah, so there it is. But it's scary. It's really, really scary. So, but thank you for asking. And I'm home right now, so
That's
I'm
a
allowed to
very
be.
good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm allowed to be in front of the computer, and I'm just have to take it easy. I can't be lifting, can't do anything strenuous, can't get my heart racing. So, as far as activities are concerned. So this is fun, and yeah, just again, thanks to everybody that's been private messaging me and posting on Facebook and everything. It means a lot. So thank you for to everybody. I just want to get the word out on that.
No, for sure, for sure. Well, and we wish you all the very best of success coming up here in a few days. In the meantime, you just under doctor's orders, you take it easy, you rest, relax, and as you said, nothing too strenuous.
Yeah.
And but glad you could join us today. I wasn't sure. Obviously, I was. You and I had been talking all week, and I wasn't sure of your status. So this might be a little different episode. I really didn't know um, what I was going to do if you weren't here because you're such an integral part in all this. And I did send a few invites out. Nobody's really responded as of yet, but we'll see. Hopefully, in the next few minutes, somebody will pop on. But if worst case, hey, listen, you and I can wing it, right?
Yeah, I think we know a little bit about this show. And of all episodes, that we're going to be discussing too. And um actually, yeah, I'll just say this. With immortality and talking about that, with everything that's, going on, with me personally, it's like, you start thinking about different things that, when you hear different things you may be going through. And I mean, the prognosis, I mean, it's going to sound kind of morbid, but I mean, the doctors pretty much told me if this could have been like a bomb going off in me, like within the last, any time between now and like maybe a year or two. And pretty much the prognosis was if it had gone off, I probably wouldn't have survived it. So with that said, I know about it, which is good news. But tying it into this episode, the episode deals with immortality. And unfortunately, there's the positive and then there's the negative, meaning the good versus the evil. And with that said, I'll read the ITC summary for this episode. And that is: the Alphans unleash a terrifying power when they free a killer who can't be killed. How can you deal with a psychopath who is immortal? And again, of course, we're talking about episode number 16, End of Eternity.
Huh. Wow. Yeah, that phrase sticks in my mind. The killer who can't be killed.
Yeah.
And of course, it reminds me of one other thing that came out a few years later.
I heard something, but it didn't come through. I'm sorry.
Did that not come through?
No.
Oh, you couldn't hear that. I'm sorry. I played the Terminator theme.
Oh, okay. And
So
I thought maybe this was kind of a foreshadowing of maybe the beta cloud.
Right. Yeah. No, I figured StreamYard would pick it up, but yeah, I should have, I was under the gun, as you know, and I should have actually loaded it into StreamYard to play that.
It's
So
okay. No
I really,
worries. And no, you're absolutely right. I mean, what a movie, what a fantastic film that came out in 1984 with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
the killer
So,
who can't be killed, right?
yep, literally 20 years, or excuse me, 20 years, 10 years after the filming of this episode, that movie was released in the theater.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy, crazy. Okay. Well, listen, let's get right into it. This very special, different episode, and we'll be right back, and we will discuss End of Eternity.
Sounds good. I love seeing that opening by Catherine Bougel. She did such a wonderful job with that.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And yeah, I mean, we're just so grateful to Catherine and to Ben for, all these weeks now, Roy, we've been going and almost done season one. I can't believe it, how quickly the time has passed.
Yeah,
Really.
we are actually, with this episode, Warren, we are 2/3 of the way there, believe it or not.
Yeah, unbelievable, unbelievable. So, yeah, End of Eternity, wonderful episode. I think it sticks in everybody's mind as one of the better year one episodes, and sort of a dark and haunting tale. I mean, right from the get go in the caves and caverns of the asteroid, very dark and gloomy, very atmospheric, if you
Mhm.
will, and it set the tone for the rest of the episode, of course. And above all else, a wonderful performance by Peter Bowles. It just knocked it out of the park with his portrayal of Valor, of course.
Yeah, what's interesting about that too, and I didn't realize this, but he was known for his comedic roles and for his lighthearted roles in the UK. And I had never seen anything he had done prior to seeing this episode. So that's all I knew him as, this menacing, alien, this entity of evil. I mean, evil incarnate. I mean, it's so dark, and he really, really does handle his performance very well. I mean, we are unaware of what he is at the beginning of the episode. I mean, he's pretty much found in isolation, but as things unravel and he essentially does the changing of his character, it pretty much happens like instantaneous. And while he's having the discussion with Koenig and his command office, and it's like the flick of a light switch. And I think he really handles his performance quite well with that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And along with everything else, again, I mean, I'm going to circle back to that opening. It's such a great, iconic opening, and the shots of the eagle on the asteroid itself. Some great effects work again by Brian Johnson and team. And inter- it's I remember actually David Hirsch reporting about this episode a little bit in Starlog, I believe, and the fact that this was one of the episodes that was clearly not a mysterious unknown force episode. This was
Mm.
simply the Alphans being pitted against an obstacle or an enemy or a foe, and using their own creative ingenuity to defeat them. Right,
Right.
and perfect example, especially towards the end there with Koenig and what he does. No spoilers after 50 years. But yeah, no, for sure. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what's that? What's that?
Sounds like a red alert to me.
Oh boy, can you hear that, Roy?
I can hear that.
Oh wow. Well, it must mean we have a very special guest showing up.
Oh,
So let me just see here. And speaking of which,
hey.
I heard my name, so my ears started burning.
Speaking
Hi,
of
Dave.
David Hirsch.
Hey, Roy, glad to see you.
Thanks so much, David. Good to see
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
thanks for joining in, David.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, great to have you,
Of
David.
all the episodes.
Well, like I said, I wasn't sure if Roy was going to make it. Just do me a favor, David, and don't tell Roy that you're actually my first nominee for co-host replacement. Sort of like
No. I'm
No,
always
no.
glad to pitch in, if Roy is unable to, help out.
no, I know.
No,
I'm the B team. Come on.
it's wonderful.
You're like
to
the
see
Joan
you.
Rivers. That's
That's
what I was.
right. That's right.
Wait a minute. So David Hirsch is the Joan Rivers of Space 1999.
That's right. I'm
Nice, Warren.
here to make I'm here to make fun of you all.
David, how was your trip and everything? Okay.
Oh, the trip was great. It's just that we both got sick coming back.
God,
So
I'm
we've
sorry.
spent the last 2 days literally in bed. It was I don't know if it was heat stroke or what, because we went to Colombia for a conference in Medellin, and it was it was cool there, around 50 to 60 degrees. And then we went to Cartagena for 2 days, and it was 90 degrees. And I don't know if that's where we got sick or what.
Right.
But
Well,
it was a good conference, so it was great.
that's awesome. I'm glad everything went well with it. And I hope both you and Renee are feeling better soon. And my best to Renee too.
Thanks.
Sounds like it was a quick trip, a quick turnaround.
It was basically, the conference was about, I would say, 2 days with 2 nights in Medellin. And then the plan was for a bunch of us to go to Cartagena for just 2 days, since we're in the neighborhood. But it kind of fell apart. It was a conference to unite Latin American Jews, which surprisingly there are quite a lot. It's just that there's no infrastructure. And unfortunately, there are a lot of disreputable people who are doing conversions that are not considered legal. They're only doing it for money.
I gotcha.
So our rabbi is trying to set up a sort of structure for them to follow, where they get official approval. So if they travel to Israel, they're recognized as being Jews. So his wife was supposed to go with us, and that was the reason Renee wanted to go. And unfortunately, his wife had a bit of an accident just before, so she was unable to travel. She slipped and fell and fractured her elbow.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was really crazy. So without them in Cartagena, things kind of fell apart. But we just lounged by the pool at the hotel, explored the city a little bit, which is very nice. It's I would say it's got a lot of Miami vibes, Cartagena.
Gotcha.
But it was really, we were like 7,000 feet up in the mountains in Medellin.
Oh my goodness.
And spent one afternoon, we had a driver tour guide take us into Medellin to visit this arts colony, something 13. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name, but it's like you walk up the mountain. It used to, years ago, it was a drug den, but now it's like a major tourist spot for artists, beautiful artwork, lots of restaurants and bars along the way. So we got to see, the better part of the country, and met a lot of nice people.
That's really nice. That's really good.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that she got hurt as she did, but
Yeah. It would have been nice to have her there. I think Renee would have been a lot more active, because there was a lot of times where, the meetings were in Spanish. So the only way I was able to follow a lot of the meetings were with the translation software.
Gotcha.
But in the mornings when we prayed and everything, it's men only. So she was by herself. So it was nice to get away.
Yeah.
So
Hi to everybody out there that's messaged.
Yeah, I was just going
Thank
to say
you
there's
for
so many nice comments coming in, and of course, lots of regards for Roy and some special nods of recognition there. So that could be a recurring theme of today's show. Absolutely, Roy and David. Thanks for joining us.
No. I'm glad I could help, but always
Really
glad to be with you guys.
Yeah, it's always nice to see you. Absolutely.
Uh,
Uh-oh. What is that? Oh, boy. That must mean we have another special guest. Let's see who's out there.
Oh,
Hey guys.
Wow.
hey.
Well, hello.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hi, Roy.
Hi, Daryl and
Hey,
Scott.
Daryl.
How are you doing, buddy?
I'm hanging in there. Good to see you. Good to see you
just
both.
do that. Yeah, same from you as well. Hey, David. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Warren.
Sorry I couldn't
Yeah.
be in London, but things.
Yeah, it's there's always another time, another way, David.
Yeah, we'll see. See.
No, for
So,
sure. How you doing, Daryl and Scotty? Nice to see you.
Yeah, Scotty's
Hello.
with me. Yeah,
I like your
Right
jacket,
on, man.
Scotty.
joining us tonight.
Great.
Looks
He's
very
got one
sharp.
on. Yeah.
Very sharp. Is that a Dave McLaughlin?
No, that's not a Dave. We have Dave McLaughlin's, but that's not a Dave McLaughlin. So it's
That's not an
one I just
original, is
picked up. No, it's not an original. That's a Dave McLaughlin
That is.
underneath.
Underneath. Yes, the tunic. Yeah.
So so that's one of Dave McLaughlin tops. But yeah, so good to see you guys.
Yeah.
I haven't really had a chance myself since London to see anybody. I catch up. Sort of got a bit washed out ourselves when we came back, and I dined in hospital and other things as well with family matters, a bit similar to you, Roy. So yeah, we're good. Hopefully soon back on the Eagle. We found a new home for her, so she can continue and to get more finished and bigger, and that's what we're doing. Yeah. So all cool. It was lovely. People, yeah, so pleased that everybody enjoyed what they saw. She's a work in progress, but yeah, I'm just for the few that managed to put a suit on it. It brought a lot of smiles to faces, so we were very, very happy about that.
Good.
But
Absolutely.
terrific convention as well. All that guest lineup, terrific weekend. So hope it does it again soon. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for saying it. And you were such a big part of you and your whole family with all of the effort that you all put into over the course of a year and a half, working behind the scenes to present this wonderful replica. And
it nearly killed us, Warren, but we got out the other side.
and
That's what it is.
It's
for you and me both, but it was nice. I'm glad you guys got the time and took the time for a few months to recover afterwards, because it was very strenuous, very stressful on everybody involved.
We
But
couldn't have really
now
done any
you're
more.
gearing up. You're gonna get back into the build soon here, I understand.
Yeah.
And
Have a bit like Roy. I have a couple of family matters. So one of my sisters got rushed in with chest pains yesterday, and my brother and things. So there's a couple of family issues I needed to look to. Bit
That's
similar.
important.
But we're getting there hopefully, and we'll come out the other side. But February we found a home for her. Nice, dry, high ceilings. But yeah, it's a good, clean area to bring her on, really. And we're still doing bits and pieces, aren't we? On with spacesuits and front chest backs, all that sort of stuff at the minute. Bring your helmets in. What else? Yeah, sorry we forgot the handles for London. But
I can't believe that.
A bit weird, because to get the handles on and that pipe work underneath, there we go. We've got to get them industrially bent, so that's what we're doing. But we were so pleased we could get that together as she was at that time, and it was so lovely. Everybody appreciated it.
Yeah, and the lights were spectacular.
Yeah, fantastic that Nick joined
big
us as
shout out
well.
to Kate.
Yeah. Kit Bevan did his bit with us and had a great weekend helping us out. Eagle Six, Jed and Matt and everybody. We had a great time. And yeah, a great shout out to all the guys that were down there that helped us. Yeah, especially Darren and Kim.
We had
They
a big team.
They had, yeah. Well, we sort of went with 6 and finished up with 29.
Normally people are 2 or 3, but we had a freaking
But
mini
it's,
order with us.
But yeah, and then I came back and found out with a lot more stuff than I thought I had left. So yeah, for weaponry and all that sort of thing. So we're on a good road. We're on a good road.
Good.
Well, of course, the idea is you are planning on expanding the build into the corridor and the full passenger pod, correct?
Yeah. That's still
For
the
sure.
aim.
So,
Yeah.
That we're going to do that full set.
you know, for everybody out there who was unable to join us, let us just say to everybody out there, including yourself, David, that we're really hoping and trying to present some further opportunities for everybody to take part in this, and just be patient, and we will try our best. And Daryl again, and your entire family, and yeah, I mean, it was interesting even to see people like Darren and Kim, everybody come together. Darren and Kim were new to fandom, and their first convention was only the year previous in Calgary, but they just jumped right on board. Ken Scott was there.
Yeah, Ken, Victor and the guys on the Sunday night all came together to help us pull it down.
They were amazing.
I was a bit bothered for time on the Sunday, and
I thought the auction was great.
all of a sudden we came back and everybody met us in the foyer saying, "Come on, we want to give you a lift," and that's the family. That's Space 1999, isn't it? That's the family.
The draw at the end.
You know, we all play our little parts, don't we? We all play our little parts.
Yeah, no, it was wonderful. It was lovely. And okay, so listen, I think
Okay.
fumble here. Okay, you know the sound effect. Okay, we have another special guest. I'm trying to coordinate all this today. We will bring on, speaking of Calgary, Miss Nancy.
Hi,
Hello,
Nancy.
Hey guys,
Hey, Nancy.
And
How are you doing?
good to be here. This is kind of a last minute thing, and Warren, you're lucky to catch me because Sundays are really tough for me because it's my only day off.
Yeah, know about that.
But I was really glad and good to be able to jump on and say, Roy, I've just been thinking about you and your mom and lifting up prayers for you both. And I know it's the waiting can be the toughest part. And I just have every confidence that you both are going to fly through your procedures. So be thinking about you next week.
Thanks, Hans. I appreciate it. Good to see you too.
Yeah, wonderful. Chris Trice says, good to see you home, Roy.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks.
You bet.
Boy,
You bet.
Chris is looking better, isn't he?
It's like he's de-aged.
Yes, hasn't he? Well, at least he's going in the right direction.
Well, and of course, Chris was another big contributing factor to All Things London a few months back. Him and the team with Chris Potter and all the wonderful model makers over there in the UK who supported the fandom and the modeling industry surrounding Space 1999 for all of these years, and just some incredible work. And on top of that, I mean, with Daryl's work there and family, we had the incredible originals on hand as well. Andrew Frampton was gracious enough to bring Eagle 2, and Jim Winch and Daryl and a number of people who have curated these original props and pieces, and we're just so grateful that they're in the good hands of all these collectors.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it was an amazing time. It really, really was. And
I'll just sorry, Roy. I was just going to give a shout out to the guys with the originals, because you've got to remember the bottom line on that is they are personal possessions. So when they do fetch them out, and they do fetch them out often and in style and plenty of, it's just so nice that everybody gets a chance to get close and so up front with them. So it's big shout out to Jim and Andrew and everybody else, Simon, everybody that has originals that brings them along, because it's the aim is, when we used to do it shows, so I've enjoyed it shows, one aim, they all go out there and they all get back home safely, and that's the main thing.
Definitely second that.
Yeah, they're just the amount what they bring, and the quality and the diversity, it's wonderful of them. So big shout out to the guys.
Big shout out, and just so grateful again. And even going back a year to Calgary, we were so grateful for everybody that brought originals up to our Calgary exhibit. It's probably going to be the last time in North America, but it was, of course, Darren Peters brought Eagle 3 and a number of pieces. David, you flew halfway across the country with Eagle 11 in your suitcase.
Yep.
Yeah.
So and of course, there's always a risk. So I mean,
there's none of the risk, but at this stage of my life, it's harder to get away to do the conventions.
Yeah.
And it's like, if anyone wants to pay my airfare and hotel, I'll bring it. But that's I have to do that at this point.
Yeah, it's tough. It really is. Thanks, Phil. Good to see you out there, and thanks for your wonderful comments too. We appreciate it. And Claudia, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Eagle 6 was amazing.
It really was.
Jealous of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, for sure. Okay, well, listen, we got quite the crew here today, and Roy, I should have warned you that this show could break all the rules when it comes to format and structure, because this is
All right. It's all good.
completely loose.
Surprise party for Roy. No excitement, just
No
calm
excitement.
vibes.
My son Ryan got me a Apple Watch, so I can monitor my my heart rate and everything.
Good.
So it's I can't get over how it reminds me of the watches that they had on Space 1999, with the monitors and everything. So, but you guys didn't throw my heart rate too off, so I'm okay.
Good.
I got to have a little fun and a little laughter. So.
Yeah.
Respiration, heart rate, normal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ready to wear all the
good
way.
to see you home, Roy. It's good to see you at home.
Yes,
Thanks,
it is.
Carol. Thanks.
Yeah, agreed.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. So
No, for sure.
All right. Here's where the structured Roy kicks in. So we are talking about End of Eternity.
Must we?
I always get busted on my show for when Ross and I kind of what's the term we go off topic and everything.
Pontificate.
That's the fun of it, though. It's so nice when we can do that. We have the camaraderie, which is my favorite word. So we got the camaraderie going on here. But
Camaraderie?
Well, it's my made-up word.
Oh, okay.
I love how you add an extra syllable or two in there.
Yeah.
The joke is every time I would say camaraderie, people
Right.
in the comments section would write drink, and then everybody's taking shots and crash. And I had no idea because he messaged everyone behind the scenes that when Roy says camaraderie, drink.
This is Roy speak. Okay.
Yeah, digression is good for the soul, right?
That's right.
But now this is another one of those terror episodes. I mean, horror episodes. I mean, between the style in which it was filmed and the way it's taken place, the direction. I mean, I was saying earlier when we first started, I was not aware of Peter, and I remember meeting one of the few times I met Martin Landau. He was actually going through, and I had the pleasure. This was at the Chiller event, Chiller Theater, and had the soundtrack. And in the soundtrack is the booklet. And when he was going through it, he was like looking at the different episodes and the guests. And then he came to this one, and he goes, Peter Balls, and he said it just like that, and it always stuck with me. And his recollection with everything, but I never knew that he was like a comedic actor. Though,
No,
right?
he's one of Britain's top. I mean,
To the Man
Born is one of
the Man Born with Penelope Keith. Yeah.
I had no clue because I had
No,
only known him for this episode. So to find out that he had this entire background, I just was amazed by that. And I thought, how cool is that? I mean, his acting chops. I was saying to Shari and earlier, and I was saying to Ryan, about John Ritter. It's almost like, John Ritter Three's Company back in the States, how he was always comedic, but he had done dramatic work. And it was kind of the same thing where you have an actor that's known for the comedy, but then also has this other side to him. And again, kudos to Peter Ball. I'm mispronouncing.
Bowles.
Yeah.
That was the thing with the first series where they went for name actors.
Yes.
Not only international names, but a lot of British actors. And you had situations where, you had Christopher Lee, who's known for horror, playing a very gentle alien.
Exactly.
So they did go and cast against type at times.
Right.
But
They did. That's one other thing I remember from Starlog, David. I recall an article talking about Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee and how they were both sort of opposite typecasting in the series.
Well, Cushing's run was typical of some of his other characters. He didn't always play villains. He sometimes played very, friendly characters. Yeah, he wasn't as sort of goofy as his Doctor Who character or the Doctor he played in At the Earth's Core, which was very similar characters. He didn't use his comedic chops there, but it was more like, Cushing might be known for these characters, but he also plays, very gentle characters.
Yeah.
But
it's amazing, really.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Christopher Lee's back catalogue. Again, Wicker Man, films like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Even in series, James
Bond as well.
Yeah, and he finished up in that. So it's
and if you go back before Lee's breakout roles in the Hammer films, he was cast quite a lot as villains.
Yeah,
probably because
he was really. Yeah.
Well, he had the look in the face of one, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Hello.
Well,
hello.
Red alert.
Oh, I'm sorry for interrupting. We had another guest behind the scenes and they went away. So I apologize.
Oh.
False alarm.
The interesting of the casting of Peter Bowles,
no computer.
The critique that Johnny Byrne did on the first series, he basically pointed out that he thought he was terribly miscast as the role. It wasn't who he had in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember reading that in your book, David.
Yeah.
And here's the plug for the book.
Yeah, thank you.
Both you and Bob Wood.
Thank
But
you.
yes, I was reading that before coming on to the show, and that, to your point, he just really felt that it was not in alignment. And I guess he enjoyed the first, or he thought the first two acts were.
First 2/3 of the show he thought worked, and then somehow it lost its way.
Yeah.
There's an odd little point of trivia on Internet Movie Database where someone's claiming that he felt that he couldn't write enough of a backstory for Baylor's motivation to fit into that episode, and then he planned to do a sequel in the third series. But I find that hard to believe because he really had nothing to do with the second series, other than they reused some of his scripts that were left over. So I don't know if that's true. But then, of course, we have, Bill Latham did the sequel.
Yes.
And Byrne did the intro to it. But in Byrne's intro makes no mention whether or not this was based on anything that he planned out. So it's probably wholly Bill Latham's original story.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Played it so well, though, didn't he?
Yep.
Okay.
They're hovering around. They came back in orbit.
This time it's for real.
I was going to say, are these hawks out there, or that's next week.
All right. Oh, look at this.
Hey.
Wow. Hi, Ross.
Hi,
Oh
everyone.
my God. Now that is a surprise.
Yeah.
I would never, ever
He heard you were lurking about.
I think this might be a Telosian illusion here. I think actually it might be a Bringers of the Wonder illusion here.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. Thanks for joining us, Ross.
Well, you're welcome. I don't want to interrupt the taping of this thing, but Warren invited me and I just wanted to come in and say hello.
Hey, Ross.
Hey, buddy.
For sure. For anybody out there who isn't aware, Ross, of course, is Roy's co-host on Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner.
And he's also he's also a very old and very dear friend too. We go back to the 1980s. So I am very, very lucky to have reconnected with Ross. I was just saying that to him today too, earlier. So yeah. Ross and I have known each other probably for like, my God, 40. I hate to even say, but it's probably like 44 years, 45 years close.
Yeah. We hadn't seen each other for how long?
36 years, maybe
36 years, I think, before we reconnected to do the show. So yeah.
But
and the rest is history.
Well, of course, and this is very special and momentous because Ross is a huge Space 1999.
Absolutely. I was told I should play Bergman in the remake, though.
Claudia Combs is saying, Ross, what are you doing on Alpha? Oh, shoot. You got me, Maren. You got me, Ross.
But I don't have to hold you up. I know you guys were talking about something when I came in. And I didn't even know if I should come in. But
Ross, this is the digression part of the show. This is what everybody loves.
It's never boring.
Ross, I was just about ready to go through the plot of End of Eternity.
No, thank you so much for coming in, Ross. It really means a lot. And of course, Roy, if you haven't figured it out by now, we were hoping to surprise you a few times today.
No, I'm surprised by all of you being here. So thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it.
Of course, I wish Roy well. I mean, we've been in contact off the show here, so it's not really like we haven't been, in touch. But
no, we've been talking through the week too. Yeah.
Just really quick, what do you guys have coming up? I think you have a special show coming up, right?
Yes. Yeah, we're actually going to be doing. We're going to be talking about Ross's love of Space 1999. That'll be tonight at 7 p.m. on Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner. It's going to be a special 4-hour presentation, and we're really looking forward to you all joining now.
It's only. Yeah, it's my lack of enthusiasm for Space 1999 is only eclipsed by the Super Bowl.
Probably good part there.
There's a funny story about that. Ross and I actually covered the 1975 movie Rollerball on Super Bowl Sunday about maybe 4 years ago. Ross, we did that.
Yeah. What you do, Black Sunday?
James Caan movie. No, we're actually, our next televised show will be a week from today, which is going to be February 16th. And it's a Sunday. It'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are going to do a special show for David Frankham, for folks out there who remember David from Star Trek. And he's also done a lot of different things, but he's going to be celebrating his 99th birthday.
Oh, wow.
And David's been a friend of the show for many years, and we're going to have him on, and it'll be a short show. It'll be just only an hour, but we're going to have him on to just, see the fans, talk about him, everything. And if you remember the Star Trek episode, Is There in Truth No Beauty with Diana Muldaur? He played Larry Marvick in that episode. And unfortunately, he was the tortured soul that was in love with Dr. Jones, and unfortunately, he took the Enterprise to the edges of the galaxy. And then, before he went mad, the Medusan ambassador, for the folks out there that are classic Star Trek fans. So, anyway,
if that fails, if that fails, you can cover season 2 of Space 1999.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Oh boy.
There's always
Ross love that one. Thanks for joining in, Ross. We won't keep you. I know you probably got better things to do, but really appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks a lot. I'll probably watch Call the Conqueror. Good to see everybody. Thank you.
All right.
And
Thanks,
best
Ross.
wishes.
Ross. Thanks, Ross.
Take care, Warren.
Take care. Yep, you betcha. Thanks.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, on that note, we're going to jump over to Mr. Stephen Redder and say hello.
Hey,
Hi, Stephen.
Stephen.
Oh, hey everyone. Yeah, I just wanted
Thanks
to
for
pop
joining
on
us.
here and definitely wish you, Roy, and your mother all the best of luck with everything that's going on.
Thanks so much,
Yep,
Stephen.
yep.
Much appreciated. Good seeing you too.
Thank you. But I did want to share a story about Peter Bowles too. There was something I read about. He wrote in his book that at one point he came home and found a woman at his home who said that she wanted to be with the most evil man in the world after seeing that episode.
Wow.
Okay.
Shocking.
No, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up,
Weird.
Stephen. I actually just came across that story, and I guess he did an autobiography. The autobiography's name is "Ask Me If I'm Happy: An Actor's Life." It was published in 2010, and he references that that story that you just told. So yes, I mean, could you imagine coming home and being greeted by that?
Right?
That's kind of scary. In fact, I actually read too that he said to his agent after doing this episode that he never wanted to be cast as a villain again. It was something he kind of wanted to stay away from. So this episode evidently had a deep impact on him, very on a personal level, and then it also affected some fans, I guess, too.
No, but it was really a great episode.
It was.
So that's where I first was introduced to him as well. And then all the comedy stuff I saw afterwards. I was like, oh, he's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I mean, a lot of what really works in the episodes, thanks to Ray Austin's direction. I mean, this great camera work, and then the use of the Robert Farnon music for the tracking purposes really just sets up this creepy haunted house atmosphere, especially because you have long stretches with no dialogue or sound effects.
Yeah.
So it does really make the episode work. Despite some of the Johnny Burns misgivings about how the plot doesn't really gel.
The stunt work in this episode was the choreography was done very, very well too. I mean, everything with the security teams and fighting them. Yeah. And then there's his name is going right out my mind. Paul Weston. Paul Weston. Yes. I mean, what did you talk about? A fantastic career as far as a stunt coordinator. And I believe Warren Eddie Stacy, I think he was involved in this episode as well too. And he was
that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So again, kudos to the team with that. And then when you see some of the publicity shots, you can actually see that the guards, some of them were on like a harness when they were
able to pull them up because Bose couldn't actually do the lifting.
Yeah.
But with the ceiling shots in the episodes, it hides the cable.
Yeah. You can't see it.
It sells it. Bose was about 6'2.5", I believe.
Yeah.
So he was pretty tall compared to a lot of the other actors. Yeah.
Those
which is probably why he got the role in the first place.
Yeah. Because he towers over Martin Landau, but it's just that he's on platform shows or stilts that they were using.
Yeah, there probably were platform shoes and he probably even put him on an apple crate.
Yeah.
To give him a little extra height.
Because they do those scenes in the main mission where they're kind of like panning the camera around. And I guess Martin Landau was he was about 6'3" or so.
Yeah.
So he's probably just a little, taller with those heels on. One of the other things too is, again, and I'm going to turn this as a negative into a positive. A lot of times we hear about Space 1999 as far as characterization, the role of Baxter. I mean, the backstory. I mean, we know how much just by all the insight that we see, just the way he conveys how he feels by losing his ability to fly, also his quarters, the way everything is set up, his love of aeronautics.
Well, that's his whole identity. is
Yeah,
the fact that
I
he's
mean,
a pilot.
absolutely, and
Yeah.
it's just that it's very much conveyed in this episode,
Yeah.
and it really comes through. I mean, it's a passion for him, and we know that, you know, within the 52 minutes of this episode that it's being filmed. So again, to say that there's no, you know, there's personality lacking in Space 1999, I always beg to differ on that.
Oh, totally.
100%. I just want to point out, Nancy, I've got you muted. I can unmute you, but we're receiving some feedback from your end. No problem. No, and thanks for joining, by the way. And hope everything is well, Nance. And Stephen, of course, wonderful.
Just go like this when you want to tell us something.
Yeah.
I think you can even unmute yourself on your end, but yeah, it's
Cool.
some strange feedback. But no, Mark Anthony Craig just joined as well. Just said, glad to see you looking better, Roy.
Thanks, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Mark's been doing some amazing things over there, and
Incredible.
the miniature Moonbase Alpha diorama is just
Lovely
phenomenal.
Work.
Doesn't even begin to describe it, and he just keeps going. It's like
Yeah.
every other day. Here's the nuclear generating area. Here's the
He's doing
solarium.
everything. Nuclear generators, solarium. Yeah, and they look
I
so
hope he's got
cool.
room in his house to move
Extremely
around.
cool.
still.
Yeah, it looks
What is-
it's
what is
amazing.
Virgin
Great
Company
work.
behind?
Yeah,
And half
yeah,
the time,
lovely
you
work.
know whether it looks
Yeah.
like this is real, like he actually built a live set.
Yes.
Yeah.
Life size.
No, they make great Zoom backgrounds.
Yeah,
Yes,
they look
yes,
beautiful.
they do. Yeah,
They do.
and Sylvain was the other fellow who's done that.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah. Oh,
Incredible
some
work.
really nice stuff with his too.
Yeah.
They both
Yeah.
are wonderful stuff.
Yeah, very, very talented individuals out there in our fandom. It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
amazing.
we're just in the set same way when we have some wonderful fans, haven't we, that do amazing work. Lovely
Absolutely.
work. Yeah.
100%. And there's just so much passion, and it's, you know, all out of a love for this 50-year-old series. It is it's just
Where were these guys in the 80s when I needed them the most?
I know, right?
Back then it was like,
You know,
space what?
Funny
Boom.
enough, it's ASA when we were doing ASA shows, and the first time we took Brian out, and I think we were on Cosford 1 then, and then we're looking at all the guys' works and what they'd achieved and how, and he gives a lovely, he just turned around and said, guys, I'll give you all a job tomorrow, you know. So that was, for our team of guys, that was a lovely accolade, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's the shame was that I was kind of there with a lot of these top model makers when the tide turned to CGI. I mean, Greg Jean, all of them, just they knew it was coming, and it was like the end of an era.
Yeah.
I think that line in Jurassic Park, where it says, I think we're extinct now. I think that actually come from the FX crew, if I remember, and
Yeah.
they decided to keep it in, you know, because
Yeah.
it was a big game changer.
Yeah.
You know, everything in film, it all has its own purpose, and it. I think the art is now getting it all to gel and blend and keep practical effects as long as you can. You know what
I mean,
mean?
the one thing that's sort of positive is that you know, the Star Wars Disney series, they keep pushing to do physical miniatures, even though they're you know, doing their composites with CG just to, you know, get rid of the little leaks and stuff that normally happen with that. So you're still seeing physical models, which I think is kind of cool to keep that.
Yeah. I mean, just going back to Jurassic Park, I mean, I was astounded on Jurassic Park 1, you know, the Triceratops and up close with T-Rex and the Jeeps and all that going on with the fence work.
Breathe. There was
know,
some natural motion that you picked up,
you know,
subconsciously.
and I think they've lent more to CG now, maybe a cost item, but it just shows in Jurassic Park 1 how well they both can work together.
Yeah.
And if that level is kept, then
Yes.
there can be something amazing on screen, and that's, you know, they all have a purpose, but it's down to using it well, isn't it?
That's
you know,
true.
and
That's absolutely
and
true.
blending the thing. Yeah.
100%.
But,
Want to give a quick shout out to Alexa, who just commented, and Alexa's saying, I'm so glad to have this community because nobody in my area has even heard of the show. They just stare at me like, space what?
Yeah, true.
Alexa, well, if anybody isn't aware, you can like and subscribe to her YouTube channel as well. She's done all those wonderful Space 1999 episode reaction videos, and of course now she's branched into UFO. A big UFO fan as well, and even coming right down to doing some cosplay. So Alexa, just wonderful work, and we hope to see you in Los Angeles in a few months' time, because I know you're close. I think you're Northern California-ish, so it'd be wonderful to see you there as well. And on that note, just a quick, I can't thank this crew enough, but in particular, Nancy and Stephen, for everything you did behind the scenes in London again. When we get to Los Angeles and Burbank in September, you guys are taking a back seat. I want you guys to put your feet up and just relax for a change, because you guys went above and beyond in London.
Yay!
And did it so well. And did it so well.
Well, it was great. It was, to be honest, it was just great working with everybody. I mean, that was only my second science fiction convention ever. And the first one was in Calgary here for the previous year. And London was just incredible. And
you had a ball, Nancy. You had a ball.
It was great. And meeting you finally in person, Daryl.
I don't know about that.
So many of the people, I saw so many people just in the online forums.
You had a smile. You had a smile from Thursday right through to Sunday.
Oh, you bet I did. I warned them in advance that they might not get me away from Meagle 6.
You want to visual, mate?
I'll put your name down on the crew list. You will be there.
But yeah, Steve, you were a great help to me personally. You were a great support to me that weekend, and I want to thank you for that. And you, Roy, and Warren as well. There were some things that happened behind the scenes that you guys are aware of, and you guys, honestly, I couldn't have asked for better support. So thank you, bottom of my heart, guys.
And thank you. It was so great helping out with you and Bob
Mack, Frida, Christine, Robert Ferrugia. So many people came together for this wonderful weekend, and I just couldn't be more grateful myself.
It was certainly. I get around obviously with Scotland. We do Star Wars Land and all that sort of stuff, and raise money for charity. But the thing is, when you come to space, it's like coming home. It is a family. It really is a family.
It really is.
And that is the difference with space. Everybody will lay back at London. Everybody could be themselves and just chat away, and without having to put personas on or anything like that. It's family. You're amongst your family. It's friends. It's
not feeling like you're out of place.
Yeah. I mean, that was, to be honest, about 16 years we've been making money with Scott Ian and Star Wars, but that was, yes, we've done a few conventions and gone along and with a couple of clubs we're in, but that was Scott's first convention as well. And I want to thank everybody that took Scott and Nikki to their rights and Diane, because it was one of the first shows I've ever done and took my family along. I'm just normally in the background. I do your job well, and I make sure it just happens, and I know that takes a lot, but you just stay in the background and hopefully you're pushing everybody else forward, and the tables and the displays and really promoting the guys. So but I just also learned, we had many a chat up to that event, and I just want to say well done to you, mate, and you pulled off a cracker. It was an absolute great weekend. So
if you consider Warren was sick all weekend, and that really took a lot, I'm sure, out of you for everything that you had to manage. So
you thought he acted like that normally.
Well, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate that, and Nancy, and it was it didn't really hit me, thankfully, until the Tuesday when we went to Stonehenge. But I was well, and Roy, along with myself. It was a week. Very little sleep. is number one, right? Like virtually no sleep, and you're just you have to go for like 3-4 days straight, and there was more so than maybe any other event. There was a lot of factors and dynamics. I mean, even just with that many.
I said to you on before it, make sure you get something out of it for yourself, because it just becomes a blur. Just get little moments yourself. But
at the end of
but
the
we've
day,
been poorly. We've been poorly. So they're not you for 6. That just one other quick comment. The guest list you put together for that event, fantastic. What a guest list that attended there.
Yeah.
So that as well, Warren. Great job.
Well, thank you for that. And it's funny because I was saying all along. I mean, this was not this event, of course. Was a work in progress for many years, and because of the pandemic, like we had announced this event back in 2020. 2019 at Roy's Breakaway 2019 event, right? But then, of course, because of all things pandemic, we had to adjust and adapt to the situation, and we had to delay a couple times. But we spun that into the virtual events, and the groundwork we made in holding those 2 events in 2021 and 2022, and the connections we made with the celebrities just naturally led to an exceptionally large guest list for London, because everybody had heard about it over the course of 2 or 3 years, and everybody had sort of marked it on their calendar and was really looking forward to it. So we didn't have to do a lot really into 2024. It's like we had everybody signed up and raring to go. So, but thank you again. It was a lot of fun, a lot of work, but and we're of course hoping to continue the celebrations in just a few months' time into Los Angeles. We hope that many of you can that as well.
Fingers crossed for LA.
Yeah.
And love to LA as well. Everybody over here, we've been seeing LA, and you can't comprehend it. You can't really comprehend it. It's just love to everybody, and again, everybody has to keep safe, all those sorts of things.
London was real jewel in the event, and the way it was actually presented, of course, in the event was actually really well done as well.
Yeah, London was a tremendous, So,
David, I hope you can make it in September. I know we talked. We both sort of have a lot of going on this year as far as our plans.
Yeah.
But we're crossing our fingers.
I don't know, because we're going to be away much of August. So
are you? Yeah.
Yeah, we have a big trip for August. So.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Like everything.
Yeah, for sure.
It's looking terrific.
Well, and we're going to have some hotel information very soon as well. So be watching for that probably within the next week or 2. We know it's going to be in Burbank, and we know the dates. And so hopefully with a hotel announcement, people can start finalizing some plans and make those last minute arrangements. Not last minute, there's lots of time, but of course, get the word out there as to where we're going to be is important. And Roy, you're going to be there, right?
I'm hoping to be.
Hoping. You and I've talked about with all things with your surgery. I mean, you're probably looking at a good couple months of recovery and taking it easy, but hopefully you'll be back up to full capacity come September, of course.
Yeah. Fingers crossed with everything. It's just so much. It's crazy. But just taking one day at a time. But hopefully I will be able to make it, and we'll go from there.
Well, I'm going to go on the record as saying this. You have to be there. Quite simply, because as we all know, I mean, Roy, again, and with all things London, Roy really picked up the mantle and took the reins when it comes to hosting the majority of our Q&A panels. And it's just with everything else I had going on, there was no way I could even conceive of it. But Roy was really there to be the face and the name of the event in every sense of the word. So thank you, Roy. And
I was also the thorn in your side, saying, Warren, we're down to we got 3 minutes left. Warren, where's so-and-so? What's going on? Where's everybody? They're supposed to be in room A, and they're not in room. They're in room B.
I know.
I'm totally missing one.
Oh boy.
Well, let's see all the Italian contingent joining us as well. You know, wonderful. They were just
Mhm.
wonderful.
Absolutely, people from all over, Daryl. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really wonderful. Yeah, 100%. Hey, we have another special guest joining us, Charlene. How you doing?
Hi, Charlene.
Hey guys,
The world
Charlene.
traveler.
Actually,
Hey.
I'm usually around here and there. I just want you to know I bought my airplane ticket to come to LA.
Oh, excellent.
wonderful.
Very good. Very good news. How's the book coming, Charlene?
Better, I think. Got some more people sending things in, so that's a good thing. A lot of work on my side now,
Yeah, I'm
and maybe
sure.
for some other people that are on this call.
Yeah,
Okay.
I owe you some information, Charlene. I was gonna actually try to get it to you last week, but I kind of got derailed.
Honey, you get a pass.
Yeah, no kidding.
You get a pass.
I want to make sure I get it in before the surgery. So
That would be best. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
you got a little something to do on your plate there.
So, Charlene, is the plan still to hopefully have readily available copies come September?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And of course at the show, yeah, you can. We all look forward
That's the
to
plan.
picking up
Hopefully
that
I
copy.
can execute.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. That'll be something for everybody to look forward to. Oh, guess what? We have a new special guest joining us.
no.
Wow.
Hey, Iz.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello, Isabel. Hi, Isabel.
Hello.
Good to see you, Isabel.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Well, now it's a party.
Nope.
Yeah.
Isabel's here.
We are the party.
I hope you ordered enough food.
Or drink.
Yeah.
This is gonna be tough. I'm supposed to eat heart healthy, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a veggie tray just for you.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, this is wonderful. How's everything going with Isabel in Dallas?
Yeah, not too bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, all good. We've just got the snacks in, you know, so we're ready for the party.
That's okay. That's okay. For our new arrivals, Isabel and Charlene, any thoughts on End of Eternity?
I love Peter Bowles because I loved him in To the Manor Born and some
There you
of
go.
his other British shows, and I just thought he was terrific. But you know, he's a good villain,
Yeah.
very versatile actor,
Yeah, played it well. He
and
played
he
it well.
got to choke Marty, which was always a good thing. Because sometimes we just wanted to do that.
You know, one thing we didn't mention about this episode is that there was a lot of cut material that we
Yes.
see in a lot of publicity photos,
Yeah.
and it was basically taken out just because of censorship. But when you see all the blood that's on
Oh yeah,
Commander Koenig and everything in
Yes,
Marlando,
that's right.
it was that, and you know, it's almost better not seeing it because then it makes it even that much more terrifying.
hmm
The camera angles with, you know, the way he was being attacked and everything were fantastic.
yeah.
But they definitely did a lot with as far as covering him in the pools of blood and everything.
Yeah, that was that one picture that was somewhere that was just
Yeah, pretty fantastic.
I always wondered when I saw that deleted scene, how did his uniform?
Hello. Somebody's echoing.
It was probably food dye or something.
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from in a hurry. Here's while we're messing around behind the scenes, I'd like to present Roy a trivia question.
Here we go.
And it's for anybody out there. End of Eternity is unique over all of the Year One episodes for one reason and one reason alone. No other episode did this, had this. No other episode did you see this. So what's the one unique thing about End of Eternity that no other Year One episode has?
Do you want me to answer that?
No.
Yeah, you know the answer.
Well, that's a good question, then.
We'll see if anything comes through on comment. Yeah. We're sorry, guys. We're trying to work on the echo. Christopher's out there saying Peter Bowles was a brilliant and versatile actor. He's sadly missed, of course.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if I've been distracted here today, folks. Did anybody mention his role in The Prisoner?
No, he was in
ABC.
I don't know that.
He was in The Prisoner. He was in Danger Man, Department S. So he's in a lot of other ITC series where he's playing dramatic roles. He played at least three different characters on the Avengers.
Yeah.
No, four. Let's see what else. He was in The
He appeared with
Persuaders.
Catherine Schell in the Napoleon and Love, as did a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a roll call of actors who also appeared in space. Tony Anholt, Peter Bowles, Billy Whitelaw, obviously.
And he was in The Persuaders. The Protectors.
The Protectors.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Can you guys see me? I think I've lost my image.
No.
We can hear you, Stephen, but we can't see you.
Yeah, I think your camera's off.
And I think, Stephen, it's your feed that's creating a little bit of echo here. So maybe drop out and try and rejoin if you still have the time, okay?
Yeah, I'm going to redo it real quick here. I'll be back.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that was
so I don't see an answer to that trivia question. Anybody else want to take a stab at it? The one unique aspect of End of Eternity over any other year one episode. Roy's just sitting there, just chomping at the bit.
Warren, don't stress him out.
I know.
While we're talking about, or while we're giving people time, although you talked about stuff that was edited out, there was a scene that should have been edited out that wasn't at the beginning, where Martin bumps into the actor and apologizes and says, "Oh, sorry, Jim," was to that effect. And of course, his character wasn't called Jim, but the actor was Jim Smiley. And I always loved that.
Yeah, that's right. It's a blooper. It's a blooper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Give you a lot, Paul.
That's awesome. Well, I think we're just going to have to let Roy answer it, and it's pretty easy when you think of it. And I'm not Mr. Trivia myself, but that's one that I know right off the top of my head. And Roy, the answer is.
Yeah, the answer is for this. This is the only episode in which the back panels in Main Mission are the color yellow. In fact, the 6 episodes prior to this, they were green. And then in the episode after this, which is going to be War Games, they go back to being white. Yeah.
Well, War Games, don't they turn orange?
They do, but they go orange when the power gets knocked out, because they go to emergency services. So that's why they go to the red.
Right.
But before that takes place, it's white. But this is the only episode in which they were yellow. And actually, we get to see green.
I'll make a note of that.
You even spotted that. I mean,
Let's go make a note of that for when we build Alpha.
Yeah.
No, believe it or not, many, many years ago, and I actually have it in I should pull it out if I have it. I think I have it right here.
No heavy lifting.
No heavy lifting. But and David will be happy with this. This is my original.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Technical notebook that I got back in 1978.
Technical notebook.
And what I did was, if I can get it, it's in the loop leaf, so I have to open it up. I did this probably about 25 years ago, maybe 30. I went through the episodes and then I wrote down what the color of the backgrounds were.
Wow.
Leroy.
That's crazy.
That is bonkers.
Send me a copy, Roy. Send
That
me a
is too
copy.
much information.
And as you can see, End of Eternity. I don't know if you can see it, but
Wow.
it says here.
Hello.
Yeah, that's
Brilliant.
kind of nerdy, Roy.
It's very nerdy.
Obsessive.
Well, welcome to my world.
Yeah.
But hey, it is preserved.
Wow, Roy, that's brilliant.
Look at the library department.
Wow.
So,
That's crazy.
there you go. I thought I'd just share that with everybody.
That's like Mark Craig's doing a version with different coloured. He's doing those.
Yeah, he's probably going,
Yep.
gotta go back to the drawing board. Oh, no.
He'll have different lighting. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Get a yellow bulb for that one.
Yeah.
Thank you for the compliment. That's awesome. But yeah, so now instead of turning yellow, I'm going to turn red. But yeah,
No, there was. I always remember that because that scene that you'd mentioned, Roy, where they're panning around main mission. You
Yeah.
could the yellow panels in the background are very striking. They're
absolutely.
really again a unique contrast
Yeah.
to any other episode.
It was great to set the mood.
Yeah.
That way,
Absolutely.
yeah. The color.
I remember the red ones. I even remember the green one. I remember it being green. I remember the red, especially Matter of Life and Death, but not the yellow. Oh God, I'm gonna have to watch the episode again. Oh no!
Darn!
Green was always my favorite, though. I always
Yeah,
liked the
me
green
too.
light. It just
Love
has
green.
a serenity about it, and what have you. But yeah, and actually, in this episode, there are green panels throughout the base. Though we do see different panels that are green, so definitely check it out.
Yeah.
And the one thing we didn't talk about this episode too was the climax. Oh my God! I mean, with Koenig going up against Baylor and how they get to that, strategic area,
Pulling out the door.
the intensity of that.
Peeling the sticker off the door.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah, brilliant. Very, very tense. Yeah. And again, but the use of color, even in that scene, there's lots of nice contrast between the red and the greens in the airlock.
And I have to say, I'm gonna come clean on this. I remember it would have been the second time I saw this episode, and I saw this back in Wallington, New Jersey. It was 1975. Channel 11 I always like to give the shout out to 11 WPIX. And I was one that used to love to build Legos. I loved Legos. I'd make my boxed eagle, and I'd have little compartments and everything. And I specifically remember having my Legos and building this little airlock because I thought it was the coolest thing. Where he got sucked out into space, and I had like these two compartments. Now, granted, I was like 9 and 10 years old. Okay, that's my disclaimer, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Do you always call it Legos with an S at the end? Because we just call
Lego.
it Lego.
Yeah, we call it
Yeah,
Lego.
Without the S.
Yeah.
That's weird.
No, we call it Legos because you have to have more than one.
Yeah.
No, more than one brick, but they're called Lego.
Yeah, it's called marketing.
We had a bit of a problem today because we've had to watch End of Eternity 3 times, haven't we? Because it basically got to the point when I was with Hilton, we couldn't watch them. We put episodes on. We were doing a Roy. You were watching everything in the background, what's on the shelves, what the floors is. We forgot about the stories. The stories were just what were that?
You really just watch it as an episode.
So brilliant for that, Roy. Brilliant.
Awesome, Darryl.
It just got impossible to watch them. We could not put an episode on without looking what's on the table, what's in the office, what's on the shelves, and you're writing it all down, and then you've got to go and find it and what's it doing and where's it from. So, it's been a while. I'll be honest with you. It's been a while since we got them out properly.
I mean, it's so you guys have it so easy now with the videos and everything. We were doing the tech manual. We wanted to figure out the layout of Koenig's office. We had to run 16 mil prints over and over again, and I had to go.
Wow.
Well, let me let's just take.
I mean, Chris Trice over here, David. I mean, Chris Trice, Dave Sis, you know, the guys that have been doing it forever. And when I look at the tools, and even when I was building Wilton, because I just always used to tell them, you've got to go back to the time.
Yeah.
You know, you only have pens, pencils, you know, rubbing your thumb in a pencil lead, you know what I mean? All these sorts of things that they did then, because you just didn't have the product. Now you've got product for everything. I'll tell you one thing watching that I did notice with Koenig today, when he's taking the stickers off the wall, you know, the airlock stickers and things. I don't think you get modern vinyls coming off that easy.
No.
They just, you know, putting the clipboard behind and then pulling one off. I thought he did that really well. I applauded him at one point because they don't come off that easy this day and age.
I think they call that subterfuge. When you make it look like something else, luckily because the doors are plain.
That's right.
It makes it look like it's not even a door, it's an airlock.
But I just remember thinking, oh, the glue's a bit stronger on them these days then.
Well, during the second series, I always was convinced that all that labeling was to hide the dings in the set.
I'll just, if you don't mind for 1 second with Eagle, I'll just go in there. The one that always astounds me, the only reason we really were doing the Eagle, one, it was the day after Command Center. Warren had me with a revamp, and I said, okay. But really, it's, and I've said this to Warren before, you know, we don't know a lot about Keith's side of it. We don't know the teams he had, you know, we're using Pinewood electricians, we're using Pinewood joiners, you know, to turn those sets around in that space of time that they were doing. But then when you look at everything, everything's dressed. Everything has core tape. Everything has what we term as gobbledygook, you know, all the alphabets that are on there, you know, data 70, etc. But there's so much of it. And didn't, you know, all these people that must have been putting it down, laying it on, making these items for the shelves. And a lot of that is incidental as well. Yes. But it's just, it just gets astounding how much work were put in to a lot of things that just flies by the camera that you never see.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and again, you know, Jim, looking on some original items, you know, microscopes and all that, it's just everywhere on everything. And you just think, how much of that stuff were they using? And somebody had to put it on and somebody had to make it right. And it's just astounding. It does get astounding, you know.
Yeah, but that's the use of sets.
Yeah.
If it looks like it's got a purpose, you put a sticker on it or something to make it look like an actual bag. It wasn't plain.
That's right.
There'd have to be something on it to indicate what that is and what this place is.
That's what brings it to life. That's what gives it its character.
To make it look like a real place.
There's the interesting logic to originally the numberings on the Eagle doors. It started out, they were numbered in sequence. 6 was the inner door to the cockpit, and then they went back 5, 4, 3, 2. And then eventually, I think someone said, hey, let's just have the number of the Eagle on the door.
You know, David, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that before. I didn't know that.
Watch the first few episodes. And it goes 6, 5, 4, 3. And then eventually they switched it over. And one Eagle would say Eagle
and then
5,
everything was
one.
Okay.
Every door would have the same number then after that.
Yeah. Well, okay. I will backtrack on that. That's one that's got by me. That. Yeah.
It's interesting the thought that went into a lot of things at the start, and then they felt out what worked and what didn't work. Because I think that
still as it sounds when you go to Keith and the 8x4 modular system that he created, which is fine. And really, to a certain extent, when we made Command Center, and a quick brief on that, it was being done for another purpose. Hilton had some friends in a costuming group saying, could we make something? Hilton said, can we make a corner? And it fell through. So then Hilton came back and said, well, Drake's coming up in a few weeks. I'll be honest with you, if I remember off the top of my head, I think we actually built Command Center, 2 of us, and I think all that came into being in about 8 weeks.
Wow.
And then Hilton came back and said, have you any more stuff in garage? Do you think we could finish it? And tongue in cheek, we sort of said, well, why not? And we'll take it to Drake. The lads responded. But And then they sort of said, "Bet you can't build an eagle." Yeah, all right. Well, we'll leave that one there. You know, that we left in a pot for a few years. But it just does get astounding when you see them eat before sheets. So while we're at Draycott, probably about the second or third one, Jim came along. I wanted first to befriend Jim, and we got on like house on fire, brother from another mother type of thing. And then he fetched the original command center, which is working on now at present. He's restoring the original command center. And we're sort of all helping where we can, me, Simon Rhodes, Kit, other people, helping Jim along. But one thing that astounded me was the pure weight of command center on a few panels, a few sections that he bought. And in comparison, yeah, I was just fine for exhibition purposes and taking it around. But obviously, you know, on those sort of sets, and this is what I mean about Keith and his teams, because the weight and the size of 8x4 sheets, which is great if you want to coin the phrase making jigsaw puzzles, but at the end of the day, the weight and the transportation and the work that has to go into them to make them work, you sort of got a good feel and understanding for the pure level. But again, going back to the Hilton thing, because I said to her, you know, you're back to 70s. So you're on, 3x2, you're on 8x4 sheet supply, you know, you're on all those standard measurements, the imperial measurements that were being used by all the joiners at the time. So there's many lessons. Me and Kit Bevan we're having great conversations, you know, and we're really going in depth with it. But really, it's just really to get a glimpse into Keith Wilson's world. Yeah. You know, we know so much about, Bayern's world and everything else. But it's just to give us that glimpse into, and a bit of command center work that, you know, just to give us a feel, just to give somebody a feel what they might have just looked like. You know, you can sit in the chair, you can sit on the desk, you know, and we can get the dressing for you. But it was just, and that was the main thing I got out of London, really, is just the sheer delight that it didn't matter the back corner wasn't right, and we took the pads, but we'd run out of time to get it built properly and all those sorts of things, because she's still being built. That was out the window. Everybody just, it was, I'm seeing an eagle and I'm loving being in it. And originally I said to Warren, I can't really do that. There is a shout out to one Italian lady, because she actually came up to me on the Saturday and she just stood there. And she had a tear in her eye. And she just turned around and she just said, "So beautiful." And I thought, that's down to Keith, but I just thought it's not finished. You know, as you as the viewer, you're not seeing me as the builder, and what I can see is missing. Right. You're ignoring all that, yeah. And then again, they'd sort of asked, could they do a little bit of filming in it on the Sunday morning? And for health and safety reasons, it is difficult these days, a lot more than what it used to be. Yeah, but that's the thing. But that lady came up again.
No, but I could understand her reaction. I remember the first time I went to the Space City exhibition, and when you walked in, they had the command center consoles right there. And it was only portions of it, but still it was emotional to see the actual set pieces right in front of you. When I saw Jim's originals and we got up close to them, I think Jim had got them in about 3 different places. I think some had come from Jason, and anyway, we're piecing it together. But that's the thing that I brought away from me seeing them. Yeah, on what we did, it looks close, but in reality, I'm not saying we were far away, but not as close as we thought. And then when you see what they were using with the size of timber and those 8x4 sheets and the thicknesses, you know, it's like a dentist chair to us with 4 guys to move it. But with Jim, you needed 4 guys to move a section. You know what I mean? Because it was, you know, now Eagle not being a standing set and being moved around, even we got astounded. And in so many shots, just quickly on Eagle, I'm not going to take over or anything. But there's one, you know the console. There is one in one of them where both the chairs go to the console in unison. Yeah. And I'm thinking they've got 2 elephants. In Guardian of Piri, when they jump into Eagle, the console slides into position. Yeah. There's a few different ways it does it. Sometimes the console comes to them. Sometimes the chairs are further back. Yeah. But this particular episode,
you know, you've got Carter in that chair, you've Koenig in this chair, and both the chairs move in unison to the console.
It was a pretty cool
and
shot.
I'm thinking, how the hell did they do that? They're not on runners, you know. And I'm imagining like 20 big strong fellas like pulling ropes, and all of a sudden they're acting, they're being pulled forward, because still to this day. But the way they took the set down, with the 147 is over the Eagle door, and the roof section gets there, many a time. As much as the console has to hit points on the walls, 1 minute you see it's an inch above the door padding, next minute you see it's 4 inches above the door padding.
Yeah.
So you just know that all these gaps, you know, butter dishes, what we call butter dishes behind chairs, you see more gappages and things like that, purely and simply because they are moving it around a lot. And
they did because it was on different sound stages. And
then, you know, the joiners put it back where they think it were, and But we're still getting all this fascination out of this show that's 50 years old, and especially me and Kit doing set work and things. We are learning so much. There's so much information that we don't know about yet. It's great, really. You know, we're getting a ball out of it.
That you wouldn't even notice. I mean, why would you even look at the gap between the doors? But obviously, that's what you're doing instead of. You're just
we don't watch the actors and the stories and the actors. We don't bother about that.
But I'll tell you something. His recreation looks a lot more accurate than another one I've seen.
I think thank you for that. If you're going to get controversial, okay, we'll go in features.
No.
You know, me and Warren have talked. Listen, I mean, and here's my take on that. Okay, we started this 7 years ago. Nick had a different agent then at that time. People were approaching me and Hilton, you know, are you going to do it? The floor plan changed between me and Hilton. No fallout, no nothing. Just Hilton went one way and I went another, and then we just didn't get back together. But the thing is, when we're going on to that subject, and I said to Warren, I am not in a race for anything. I'm a command center to give us as fans an idea what it could be like. And I remember all the guys' faces. You know, some terrific shots of Jim and Andrew Frampton and Chris Trice and everybody, and the stories we got on Command Center. And Command Center did a lot, even for Simon, taking out the original costumes. And they'd always want to put them on. Why? Because they complemented each other. The set created the backdrop for the costumes, and Simon's wonderful costumes, you know, helped make the sets look in scale. All those sorts of reasons. But when we go, if we're talking about the other one that's about, my simple answer is they have their reasons for building one. I have my reasons for building one.
Yeah.
My reasons really are all in Keith Walton's direction. I do wish them well. They've built it their way. I've built mine our way. I did say if I'm ever going to do it, no, I don't have the finances that they have. But what I do have, and even surprised me the other day, is 25 years of studying sets.
And you've taken more time as well. They had, if you're thinking,
what a lot don't know is,
I'm thinking about, they had a specific.
Yeah, I'm not faulting the other work.
No. They have their brief.
Yeah,
it's been built. Yeah, it's been built at Pinewood, but you know, like anything else, Pinewood is a business. You know, they have schedules, they have this, they have that, they have t'other. They won't have probably all the free time I've had to study things. Am I going to put mine up against theirs? Certainly not. It was never designed for that. Ours is designed, you know, we see so much in that show. I'll put it this way. When you look at Brian, just forgive me a minute. The model work in the shows, when you see the eagles and launch pads and everything else, really you only see about 10 minutes per episode, I would imagine, something around that figure.
Right. Yeah.
But the sets are giving you all the best. And yet, you know, we just don't know the people that worked on them,
right,
like we know who worked at Bay and who did the models and space models and all that sort of thing. So the eagle, when woman said, "Would you carry it on?" I had put it to bed. I'll be honest. The way things panned out with me and H, I never modelled for 7 years, and I sold every single thing off. I just let everything go. And then I got asked, would I go back? Even with model railways that I've loved since I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
And then woman just said, if you're going to come to the convention, could you build me something? And then he came out with it. So yeah, we did kill ourselves last year. And I'm so pleased that everybody got to see a version of the Eagle that isn't the finished version of the Eagle. With so much to add in there, with so much to do.
But if you got the angle right when we were taking the photos and we got it,
it's in them.
It was
in that
was the key, wasn't it? That was the key.
Because even not a movie set. I mean, there's going to be rough edges. There's going to be unfinished corners, right? And you just have to shoot around it. It's the art of imagination and creativity.
All you've got to do is go to a TV studio to see how ropey the things are in real life.
Andrew Frampton. Andrew is one of my closest friends, like Jim, and Andrew. You know, for weeks and months we've been talking, and one of the biggest compliments I got down there. And Andrew, for weeks and months we've been I don't know if it was intentional, but Andrew just turned around to me and he sat there, and we'd just gone in for, haven't we, boys? We'd just gone in for Saturday night for 10 minutes. And just let's have a few private photos. And I said to Andrew, you're not going in. And for weeks he talked about the Eagle, and him and Kit as well. And Andrew just sat there and he said, I'm so glad you've done it that way, warts and all. He said, and not just like some theme ride or and what we could have done, and box it all in, and you're sort of giving it warts and all. And again with Martin Wiley on Catacombs. Martin, I don't look. I mean, Kit said, have you, do you know it's gone in Catacombs? And I think I'm on about 2 sites. I think ASA and JC's site, and that's about my limit because I just, I follow it my way. And then that lovely portrayal, that write-up that in Catacombs that Martin's given. But also Martin, see, this is another quick thing about it. It's you get a few eureka moments. There was one particular picnic camper I managed to get with the chrome clasps on for the pod. Didn't think I'd ever come across that one, and then I just happened to get the perfect matchup paint, and I managed to find it, and it was totally nothing like I thought it was. I just came across it by accident, a bit like when me and H were first having a go at it, the fire extinguishers in the cockpit. And I was looking for totally something else and just fell on one. And then like buses, I found 6 at once. And yet we looked for them for about 3 years and couldn't find one. But when you go to the cockpit, and Martin had said to me, Daryl, I've a friend doing a 3D rendition. Could you help us with chairs? Luckily, we've got one of the original dentist chairs, not from the show, but the original same. And that again helps when you talk about the other one. I can see things on the other one, but I'm lucky enough because that chair gives me scale, that fire extinguisher gives me scale, and there's only about 4 or 5 things, the boat accelerators, 1 or 2. We were so lucky with Andre Beauchamp a long time ago. The buttons like on a compad, I have a compad here. Just these things, these buttons here that aren't compad. The tops come off that one. But just these are all original. They're backed up. Everybody thinks they're a switch, but they're not. They're a light. Every one of them is rocking OS droppings. Andre Beauchamp managed to find us 200 red and 200 green, and I won't tell you how, but we're forever indebted. But by having them, you get your scale. You can work out your sizes, and the other one, they've had to go. I think they've had to go about it with not much items to scale from, and I've been in that land. It's not an easy land to work. There's a lot of guesswork. You know, I've found myself measuring my fingers and all this sort of thing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
anyway, there we go. That's another day.
And it's okay. It's okay, guys. And you know, I'll just sort of sum up here is that a couple of things right off the bat is just as you said, Daryl, the scale, right? If you're off on scale, that's going to translate to the entire.
I'll be honest with you.
Right?
I backtracked 3 times when I saw a few shots what they'd done.
Yeah.
I backtracked looking at mine.
Yeah.
Thinking if I got it wrong.
Yeah.
Thinking if I got it wrong, because I'm not Pinewood. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So you do. I'm not saying you double question yourself, but you do think, well, okay, have they found something I've missed? So you go back to see, you know.
Right.
And as for the vinyl, you know, what we call the butter dishes, you know, I've had many people say with this, it could have been that. They were what they are. They were no more than what they are. But that vinyl in there, about 500 quid a roll just to get that vinyl colour. They've changed its name about 4 times. I know it used to be called Milky Coffee, but then they changed it, things like that. So you just that's the fun I get out of it. You know, it's yeah.
Well, and honestly, the difference here again is we mentioned it earlier in this episode, folks, and that's that I think the difference comes down to what Daryl and his crew have, and that's a true love and passion for the series, and it shows, and it's a.
I said to you at the time,
that's the interesting thing, though, isn't it? Because obviously, Daryl, you love the show. And you're looking at the episodes and you're like, itsy bitsy tiny buttons and crap that like whoosh. Just I don't care. Taking that photo of Dallas sitting in the chair in the
Dallas. She loved it,
so cool, with her jacket on. That was like really cool. And
just going back to the Italian lady. You know, I mean, I have made many women cry in my life, you know, when I was DJ. But that lady on the Saturday, when I saw it, the moment, you know, and you know, I'm an ex-butcher, I don't melt that easy either. I know the rights and wrongs. And that lady came back on the Sunday morning after they'd been filming that little bit they'd done, and she was doing the exact same thing again. And I just turned round. And that way, just said, "Do you want to sit in it?"
Romanelli, the Italian lady.
No, she went in it as well. It was just
one of the Italian fans.
It was one of the people there. She was lovely.
Yeah.
And the thing she did, I just turned around. I said, "Do you want to sit in it?" And she just put her hand on her chest and said, "What? Who, me?" And I just said, "Yeah, you." And I just said, "Come on, we'll put your spacesuit on." And her eyes fell out of her head saying, "A spacesuit." Right? And that way. And I knew I'd get a cue. I knew it was early doors. And I knew I could manage it if I had to, because I'm used to all that side, managing people. And I thought...
So many people sit in there.
But I thought...
This is it, though, isn't it? It's like different...
I thought people...
Different...
I didn't really think about bucket lists, but I just thought people have travelled to come here this weekend. And if I'm very sensible, a bit like Command Centre, they are only getting in the chair from the side. And as long as we don't clonk them with seatbelt, we'll probably be okay, you know. And I knew that if it did get too busy or too much, then I'd have to put a stop to it.
I mean, just to jump in real quick, Daryl, that was really like a for Space 1999 fan, that was like a bucket list item.
Yes.
I mean, for something like that to happen where they not only just to be able to sit in the cockpit like that, but I mean to be in the suit or to have the jacket on and to be in that.
Oh, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. The suits are going to be finished. The cockpit's going to be. We can walk through the door. It's what we took to London. I'm so pleased that people appreciated it, because what we have planned for it. Yeah, I'm hoping we can get it out and everybody can see it again and things like that.
Just it's
We
amazing.
don't live that far from you, Daryl. When are we coming to visit you? Is it all in bits again now, though?
Isabel, your name is on the list, right? Okay. I know Dougie and Carl are about. Andrew, Kate definitely wants to come up. Luckily, when we came back, it was so. I mean, the logistics to get it down and back. But luckily, the minute we landed back, Jed, I don't know how we got that in a trailer. We actually had the van, and all we had in the van was the 2 chairs. Everything else went in the trailer. And I'm thinking I need about four containers for this. But luckily, I fell on the storage when we came back. It's all clean ex-office. It's all brand new. It's in there. We've got the 12-foot ceilings we need for our purposes and size. So, like I said, we've just come back. We sort of came back dying, got rushed into hospital, blue lighted and things like that. But we've got through that, got through Christmas, and yeah, there's issues now. But we're looking forward to starting back in February.
Awesome.
In fact, we started yesterday, really, with things on the go yesterday, so back at it soon.
But Daryl, you know what? I mean, not only did this weekend create all these wonderful moments and experiences for the fans, but even some of the celebrities that were there, you know, we're chomping at the bit to hop in. And Nick Tate, I mean, you can tell in his face, Johnny Garco. I mean, what a thing.
Johnny.
And then the big one was Christian Anholt recreating that photo, holding the photo when he was a kid.
What people don't know is when Christian came over, I found myself at that point, I was actually sat in the chair. I don't know for why, okay? But I sat in the chair. And Christian came over and he says, I've got this shot with me and my dad, right? Yeah. And he said, do you mind if we replicated it? And me being me, I just tapped my knees and said, come on then, right? But he won't sit on my knee. So I said, so I said, yeah, of course you can. So I got out the chair and let Christian get in. What a lovely lad. What a lovely gent. Yeah. And then again, he showed us the stunts, Comlock and laser gun that, yeah, obviously we went straight down to the guys, you know, and Chris Trice met 2 fabulous guys that we didn't know that were there. He'd asked you, Warren, and all of a sudden they turned up. Yeah. And little did we know they worked at Space Models.
Yeah.
They worked at Space Models and they helped build the Eagles.
Yeah.
Before they went to Brain. So
many things just fell into place. And even like Christian bringing his props that were his dad's and were handed down basically as a toy, right? And he told everybody that they're a little beat up.
Go play with these, yeah.
Yeah.
You have some go play with these.
But again, just going back to Comlock and the stun gun to try to, like, you know, and we were like looking for apps online to see if we could get like a measuring stick just so we could actually, you know, measure them and try to get, you know, the exact measurements on those.
I've got them here. Just hold on.
Can always measure mine.
There was there was one magic moment for me. I'm not really an autograph hunter, you know. I know a few guests personally, and it's lovely to chat, and they're great with me. And I am what I am. What you see is what you get. And those ladies that were filming, one special moment. I have one from Catherine, and I won't tell you why, but on it just says "You cheeky boy." Okay. So I have this autograph from Catherine, and 1 or 2, and Jim gives a few. And one of the things I was trying to do is, and luckily with Jim, because Jim comes across all sorts, he was giving me signed autographs, and we were trying to put everybody that had piloted an Eagle, so we could put them in the spacesuit pictures and all autographs, and that might go on the display sometime, type thing. But they came up to me about 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, and they just fetched me a brown envelope, and it's, I came away with this, and I was so, because I just took it out, and it was an autograph from Gianni, and it just said, "Thank you for making my day." And I thought, oh, okay, you know, that's, wow. So it did, and it's doing it now. I love that one. I don't, you know, I do it for the people. I don't do it for myself. I love the show. It looks great. Everything they did, everything they put into it. And I think we're still at a time where we can save a lot of it and show people what it were like. You know, even the weaponry we're working on, all sorts of things. That, you know, we'll try and get it right as we can. It does get difficult. One of the and again, just going on to the other cockpit, and it's I sat here for 3 hours one day, seriously, on TV, lifting Koenig's leg up and down, and that's all I did for 3 hours. Because right, watch it, Isabel. Be careful out there, love. Right, so what it was for?
What are you like?
Right, because the thing you can't get is
panel at the sides, isn't it?
Right, it's the low down panels, and here's the trick. On Koenig's side, because it was mainly filmed looking mainly over the side where Carter is, there's very, very few shots of this side.
Yeah.
And then when you get to floor level, you're trying to work out the signages on the buttons. Okay? So in the cockpit, you have 5 alphabets, you have 37 different perspectives. Okay? Watch it, Isabel. Watch it. And I needed, and even now there is I only found this out the other week, because when you go to Carter's side, low down, there's the bottom one nearest below the handles, the bottom panel there. You'll see a line of buttons, and they have little black circles on them. And I remember looking and magnifying and looking, and each one of them little dots, there's a pair of numbers in, and I managed to get the exact numbers.
Wow.
You know, but I only found out about 2 or 3 months ago that it is a letter set sheet, and they do them. I could have just rubbed them down and gone and found it if I could have found it. But but again, things like that get so hard because letter set, you know, we're lucky enough to obtain some, but everything gets in on ground. You know, the beauty of it, we've learned about it as well. Perspex were new out, bubble wrap were new out, the bandage, everything else. So all those products that we're using was at the time the latest,
readily available.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything top at tree. We're going to use this and incorporate it somehow. This is new. This is the future. So you know, you see a lot of that going on. But it's.
I think you saw a lot of bubble wrap in the Caldorian spaceship. Did you not?
Oh yeah.
Wrapped around certain things and
the bandage on back.
Yeah, sure.
You know, all those sort of things.
Tony Arnold gets it wrapped around himself in the second season as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I've
started wearing it every night. I made a few outfits out of it. It's quite comfortable. But it's,
if you happen to fall out of bed, it helps you.
We're doing really well here. I think, Roy, this is the longest episode.
Have we actually talked about the episode?
Yeah.
Who was the writer of the episode?
Oh,
Johnny Byrne.
Johnny Byrne.
I thought he was.
And Ray Austin directed it. And you know, we were talking about that earlier, the fine direction with different camera angles. And really, and too, if you think about it,
you can tell it's not a Charles Crichton. You can tell the difference in the direction, can't you? So, but I was sort of thinking back on the character and the name Balor because it comes from Irish mythology.
Okay.
On that already.
Yep.
Yeah. I know that. Because it's and obviously Johnny Byrne, he was an Irish writer, he liked to incorporate different mythology, but Balor was was a one-eyed god in Irish mythology, and he was a god of death or something like that. So it kind of fits the character as well.
Wow.
So, you know, that sort of evil, all in black. Don't know about the platforms so much, but you know.
Oh, the platforms are wonderful.
Sleeves are a dead giveaway for the 70s as well, I'm thinking. But
it's all visual. It's all visual effects, really.
Yeah, I mean, the subtlety to make it horrific. I mean, the pictures and the blood. You know, all of a sudden you're in there, and the one on this episode is you're virtually straight in the episode. they're opening up on the Meteor, and basically next news you've got Balor, and it doesn't take long to get to him, does it? You know, it's
no. The interesting thing is they cut, you know, the scene of Koenig being pummeled, either because they felt it was more horrific to not show it, or because somebody objected to it. But when they talk about how Balor looks after the explosion, we never get a clear view of him. And as far as we know, there's no cut footage of that. It's just they set out to make that ambiguous.
Yeah. The way they went about it. I mean, even Ellen, the astonished looks when she's taking the bandages off. And all that. So the way she played that.
It's hard to tell.
All of a sudden, you're in.
Yeah, how far did they work so hard?
The one scene that really stood out for me in that episode was when Balor is in medical center in that isolation ward, and they shot that scene from the other side of the glass.
Oh yeah.
And you could not hear the dialogue that was going on in the room, but you could read Helena's lips.
Yeah.
And when she realizes he's alive, and then she comes out and she grabs the comm lock to get a hold of the commander. I thought that was brilliantly shot.
Yeah.
Very atmospheric. Yeah. Well, that
but
was
it
the
was
thing.
very well played as well, Nancy. You know, with Helena, she played it really well.
Yeah.
There was a true look of shock on her face, all them sorts of things. And all of a sudden, it adds to Balor. It shows you know, what's going on here. What is this? Yeah.
What have we woken up, basically?
Yeah. What have we woken up?
What have we brought on ourselves?
Yeah.
This was a bad idea.
Well, he sums it up too at the end. We must learn to, you know, pretty much leave things alone. And that's
curiosity will be the death.
It opens. You know, it's interesting too is talking about, you know, the blood being too much as far as seeing Koenig like that, and then you think about fast forward to episode 23, Dragon's Domain, when you actually literally have a carcass coming out of a, you know, the fire-breathing dragon, and then it's
when you go back. I mean, I get slightly. Yeah, I mean, look, Force of Life. I love Force of Life. You know, it overwhelms me a bit. You know, I've got Suellas, I've got this, that, other. When you see them being used in that set down there in an office, you can just about see them, and you're thinking the vastness of that set and things like that.
Yeah.
But then when you get Ian McShane, you know, is virtually working around like a Walker's crisp, and two eyes are lit up. You know, that's basically, But I you know, at the time, I think, you know, as us being younger, I think we got allowed into a lot more, you know, and we made our own minds up, but we had common sense. We saw other things, maybe not as horrific, but we were allowed that little bit of shock at a younger age, you know, and you know, with things like that. And you know, also at that time we had a lot of World War II movies on the TV, you know, so we were used to bandages and things. So it was of the time type of thing. I don't think they get away with it today. It's the same thing. But Force of Life was walking down the corridor and the lights are going off behind him, and is basically.
And it's a really long corridor as well. Thinking, how big is this set?
Again, these wonderful, you know, these
atmosphere shot Troubled Spirit as well, with, you know, some great stuff. Horrific makeup as well. So
Space was never afraid to go there, but you know, it's interesting, David, and we talked about the autopsy scene and how that works in relation to the scene that we're talking about in Baxter's quarters, the implied injuries, right? And I think it was maybe a creative decision to do it that way. About it now.
Again, the imagination works better. It works a lot better. Bless you.
When you're, to be honest, it's a bit like Jaws, isn't it? We couldn't get the monster working, but it's better without it.
Like
you know,
that's the best horror. If you look at any of the great 50s movies, the scariest thing was you never saw the monster until the end.
Right. Because your mind will come up with the suspense. Much better.
When you look at Goetz, still is the thing is Goetz, but Goetz is a massive presence. You know what I mean? When you see Goetz the robot, you know, the presence is then. And it doesn't do much and it doesn't say much, but the presence makes you think, I wouldn't like to sit out on the door at night. You know what I mean? And that's the wonder of the writing and the filming. It just worked differently, but it's so much more sinister, you know. Yeah.
We should probably start to wind down, Warren, because we're at the 2-hour mark.
Are we? It only seems like
been a
about
while,
20 minutes.
Roy, you have a hot date? What?
I have a hot date with the bathroom.
Okay. Oh, thanks for sharing.
Hey, you know, we got a major surgery coming up.
That's true. That's true.
Well, no, yeah, you're right. This has been a really fun episode.
It has been, yeah.
Everybody for chiming in unexpectedly to just have some fun and contribute to this this crazy zany old show that we all love so much from 50 years ago.
We'll do it again after he's had his operation.
Yeah. But most importantly, Roy, we're all going to be with you over the next couple of weeks here.
You and your mom.
Thinking of you
and your family. Thoughts.
I want to say thank you to everyone that is here right now. Thank you for all your kind comments and everything. And I want to say thank you to everybody out there and just tuning in and for. Again, the messages, the Facebook posts, and just, your thoughts, your prayers, your positive well wishes, it means the world. So thank you so much. It's definitely a scary time, but staying optimistic and everything. And it's just so much appreciated. And love our 1999 family. There's nothing like it out, quite like that.
No, we're all here to help,
I agree.
If you need something.
I appreciate it.
Try not to worry too much and just get through that other side, mate.
Yeah. Deep breaths. So as I'm saying, I'm on the countdown, 10 days and counting. So
okay.
My mom is 9 days and counting, which is crazy.
Wow.
So.
You're getting a 2-for-1 special.
Yeah.
The same go to the room at the same time. Maybe they'll do it for half the price.
I wish I could say you're the first person that said that. 2 for 1, right?
Yeah.
Shoot. Thanks, Dennis.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
nice
some nice comments have been rolling in the entire time as well. Thank you to everybody out there for tuning in and relaying your best well wishes for Roy and his entire family and Sherry. Thank you to Ross for making a surprise
it was great
appearance as well. That was a lot of fun too.
A big shout out to Sherry because she's going to have a hard part in this.
Yeah, and she's up for a surgery on March 14th. She's got to have a stent out. So I mean. There's so much stuff going on. And thank you to Ryan too, my son, and he's been amazing. Good. He's been my rock too. Shari was gone for a bit, but
we're all thinking of you, mate. We're all thinking of you.
We're thinking of all of you, so hopefully it's good for her too. Everything goes well.
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure. And Ryan, like you said, Ryan's actually visiting from Texas for a couple of weeks to help out with things around the house.
That's great. Yeah, it's great that you have people you can count on there.
Makes all the difference.
It really does.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if we'll see you in LA this time. Hopefully, we'll see you all again soon. But from my point of view, if it's anything like London, have a whale of a time in LA and have a super convention. And who knows? We might even see you at that convention one way or another. We'll have to see what can, etc. But
I know all about that one, Daryl. This just comes down to whether or not your family can get you on a plane or not.
or boat.
It's that takes too long. I went 3 weeks to Saint Tropez before I'd fly for 2 hours. You know what I mean? So don't worry about it.
Daryl doesn't like air travel.
That was down to a friend who was a pilot when I'm my 21st, and he decided because he was an instructor, and he took me up for my 21st in a Cherokee, Piper Cherokee over Blackpool, and we had these 2 girls in the back, and he's showing off, and then sort of give me the dual control, and then let go. And I kissed that floor when I got down and landed sideways. And I vowed I'd never go up there again. So, I'm a good swimmer. You never know.
I was at school then, but that was the one time I went up in an airplane.
Well, if you start walking now, you may make Los Angeles by the time the convention.
I've got all the time in the world. I may just do that.
There you go.
But but whatever happens to everybody that attends, if it's anywhere, anything like London, you're in for an absolute whale of a time. You really are. So my words on that is, if you're going to go, get your tickets early, because London was something special. So and lovely to meet and see everybody.
And Scotty, thank you so much for participating this week. It's always wonderful to see you. I hope everything is well, and we will see each other very soon. There are like a hit that earlier. There's going to be opportunities yet to come. So
by the way, just to let you know, he's a convert since London. You know, Star Wars was Star Wars.
Scotty was a Star Wars
full
guy.
Convert now. Oh yeah, he's full convert now. Yeah, never had a time like it. Amazing. Can't wait for next one.
And I'll tell you what. And now that I'm in the insurance industry, I'm going to couple that by saying that, Scotty, you have a full conversion option available to you without medical insurability. So yeah.
As long as I get to fly with Nick Tate and Eagle one day.
Well, yeah. No, we.
I'll be talking about the Bill P.
Yeah. But again, up LA. You know, we hope LA recovers as fast as it can do, and sending all our love and wishes to everybody. You know,
for sure.
And hopefully, if the convention can still take place, they're all being well, then all the better for it. And anything it can do for LA is a plus, isn't it? So,
hopefully, the hotel's not in the danger zone.
Wonderful.
100%. So, Roy, listen, we are at the end of what?
We are at the end of episode number 16, which means that next week's episode is going to be the big one, or one of the big ones. It's going to be episode 17, which of course is War Games. So that'll be our next discussion.
That'll be a fun episode. Yeah. You totally missed my cue though. We were at the end of we were at the end of eternity. Come on.
People may think this show felt like an eternity.
Where's the sit back?
I went the other route.
Okay. Well, we'll call this the end of the episode, the end of eternity. Thank you to everybody for tuning in, chiming in, joining us live, commenting, well wishes to Roy. And to everybody out there, and we will see everyone real soon next week.
All our best from the UK, guys.
Bye, guys.
Until tomorrow.
Until tomorrow.
Bye. See you soon, Isabel.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Bye now. Bye, guys.